Hello everyone, welcome to Hack Knowledge by at Kit Hack Club, a place where Hack Club members enlighten people on educative topics on and off tech field while combining some life lessons with it. I'm Soham, founder and lead of Kit Hack Club. With me, I have my co-host.
Hello, this is Abhishek Raz, and right now I am the web lead of Hack Club, and currently I am also interning at Machao and also at High Radius.
And with me, I have my another co-host.
Hello everyone, my name is Smriti. Currently, I am in third year computer science and system engineering, and I'm the operations lead at GitHack Club.
And in this episode, we will be talking about how you can make the most out of your summer 21. I think most of us have often heard how certificates are necessary towards getting a job. So, Abhishek, coming to you, how much do you think, how many certificates does one need to get into a job?
According to me, there is no limit of certificate. You just need to learn some skills, and either you get any certificate or not. It's not necessary. You just need to learn something and have projects like what you have learned. You have to make some projects on it. That's it. And no one asks how many certificates you have gathered in your academic life cycle. Yeah.
Okay. So, you're saying that only skills is more important than certificates.
Right.
Okay, so Smriti, what do you have to say like about how many skills should we learn? Like, is it good to learn many skills to be a jack of all trades, or just to learn a few skills and make projects on them?
I believe that one should have several skills, but should master on a particular skill. Like one should know what are the stuffs they can learn, but one should master any particular thing. Like it should not be like one is doing everything and he's not knowing in which particular domain is the best. So I believe that skill is important, and certificate. I don't believe it's important to have several certificates. It does not even matter, I
Yes,
guess.
yeah. Same as my thing. I think that certificates is not that necessary because when the interviewer is gonna ask you questions, he won't really see your certificates, and certificates shouldn't also be there in your resume. It's just something that your skills should be there. So skills are more important than certificates. So let's move on to the next question, which a few people also have. Like, is it the quality of projects that matter or the quantity of projects? And by quality, I mean that, suppose there is one course which is being taught online, and many people are following the same course. So they're also going to have the same kind of projects. So, by the quality, we mean that is it that some unique projects which matter, or is it the same quality, like everyone is doing that kind of projects matters? So, it's quality or quantity. Let's start with Smriti. What do you think about this?
Obviously, I believe that quality matters more than quantity. But if someone is learning something, for that he or she should make some common projects just for the sake of learning. But for the sake of putting any project in the resume, one should have a very unique project. So it totally depends upon the quantity, not the quality. Quality, not the quantity.
Yeah. So yeah, it's even I think that is always about the quality of projects. And even if you are making some projects which is on the quantity, you should not, like, you can mention it to the interviewer who is going to take your interview, but it's not really a necessity to do that because they are always going to focus on something unique which you have done in your like whole of your college. Okay, so I think Abhishek, from your personal experience, how many what would you say, quality or quantity? And if you can add some personal experience to it, like how many quality projects you have done, you can even mention that.
I think you should have 4 to 5 projects in your resume, and there should be at least one or two some your flagship project where you have given your best, so that you can showcase that you have mastered that skill. And I have completed I have two major projects in my resume, and I have on my other side I have made like 10 to 15 projects. So I think you should have at least one or two like good projects in your hand.
Okay, so you are saying that at least one or two unique projects should be there, so that people know that you have really mastered the skill and it's not just copying code from GitHub and putting it on everything.
Right.
Cool. So that's nice. And most people also have this dilemma that should one do developmental coding or should one do competitive coding? So we have often seen that during people get tense during interviews that they think comparative, they're going to ask comparative coding in tech interviews, but in HR they're going to ask about your developmental projects, what you have done. So this is a common dilemma. So Abhishek, what do you have to say about this?
What I think is you should have better DSA skills. Like you should know which data structure and algorithm is best suited for what type of work, and you should also focus on projects so like you don't lag behind like working on real life projects. So you should have like great, I'm not saying great, but you should know like basic of all the, like you have worked on all the data structures and algorithm, and also in the domain of projects, real life projects. So both are important according to me.
Okay, so it's a 50-50 on developmental and competitive code.
Right.
Okay. Smriti, since you are in second year, you're gonna go to third year. So what are your current thoughts on this? Like, what are you focusing
on? Currently, I'm focusing on my problem solving skills. But what I believe is that in first and second year, we have ample amount of time. So one can invest that time in both of these stuffs, like competitive programming also and development also. And then when one goes to third year, he or she can finally decide in which domain, in which particular stuff he or she should devote all their time. Like when I was in first year, when I was in first year, I was more focused on improving my problem solving skills. When I was in second year, I started development. And right now, currently, when I'm going in third year, I'm more focused on making projects, and I've stopped doing competitive programming. It's my personal opinion.
Okay. So like right now, you're more focused on developmental coding than competitive coding.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So, like my personal experience is that, like Abhishek said, it is always better to do two side by side. But as the years go by, like if you're in first year, you can give more of your time to developmental coding. But as like you move towards interviews and stuff, you should move your focus towards more competitive coding, because that's how more companies are gonna screen you out in the first or second round. That's why you should focus more on competitive coding, and like you are already focusing on developmental coding in first and second year, so that shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so like moving on to the next question. Most people have this problem with questions that they feel a bit overwhelmed when they see problem solving questions on platforms like LeetCode. They think that they can't do it, that it is too tough for them. So what suggestion could you give to help them improve their problem solving skills? Let's start with Smith.
I would say that one should start from the basic questions, like easy questions. If a particular person is starting from a medium level question, then definitely he or she is going to get demotivated and frustrated. So to build confidence in problem solving, one should focus on easy question. Like one should solve around 100 easy question, then move on to medium level question. This way they can develop their confidence, and consistency is the only key, ultimate key to excel in problem solving skills, and not feeling bad about their bad problem solving ability.
Yeah, consistency. That's a nice term to use there, because this is a skill which is not like driving or cycling, because these skills you have to keep on practicing, you have to keep on improving on these. So Abhishek, like if you could tell us the same question, how to improve the problem solving skills, if you could tell us like what could be the year-wise thing, like year-wise plan. Suppose if I'm in first year, I can't I can give a lot of my time in solving easy questions, but if I'm in my fourth year and my placements are near, I wouldn't really give a lot of time on solving easy questions because I know that more companies are going to ask me a bit more tougher questions. So, what do you have to say about year-wise segregation of the questions?
Okay, so what my approach have been is like, suppose you are solving a question which you are not able to solve. Like you are in fourth year, but you are not able to solve some easy or suppose or medium question. So what you should do is give your like 10 to 15 minutes on the question, and if still you are not able to solve, then go and check YouTube, and there are many solutions. There are many videos on that I mean that type of question. So you watch that video and you understand what should be your approach, and you should try it on your own. Try to solve out on your own, and if still you are not able to solve it, then watch a solution and understand the concept, and make and solve 3 to 4 questions of same type, and you will your understanding will get clear, and after solving like repeat or after solving many questions on that topic, you will master that topic.
Okay, so what I could gather from Abhishek's like opinion is that if you're a bit short on time, if you're a bit constrained, then you need to like devote maximum of 15 to 30 minutes on one question, and you can search for the solutions online in YouTube and practice similar type of questions 4 to 5 times, so that you get a bit of confidence and then move on to the next type of questions. Okay, so that's cool. That's a very nice strategy if you're a bit short on time. But if you are in first year or second year, there's ample time, like Smriti said. So just practice any problem you can find. That's the only way you can improve your problem solving skills, is by solving problems. So the next thing with what we're gonna discuss is that there are people who like ask who are not really sure about the job roles that are in the tech field. Like there is UI UX, there is front end, there is back end, there is software, normal software development, maintenance work. So people ask, is competitive programming necessary to be a good software developer? So it is necessary because in UI UX there is no competitive programming necessary as such. So what does Abhishek, what do you have to say about this? Is competitive coding really necessary to be a good software developer?
Okay, so if you have predefined path that I have to become I have to do this job, then I think you should focus on that type of work. And if you have not predefined, then I think you should work on competitive programming, and it will increase your problem solving skill. And at the end of fourth year, you will have you won't know like in what type of role you want to work. Then you will get any type of job using competitive programming, and you can further decide like if you want to work or not in the same role.
Okay, so it's always about the job role that is provided. You need to see what kind of things they require. So I would ask the same question to Smriti. What are your views on this?
I believe that competitive programming will help a particular person to increase their problem solving skill in a constraint of time. Like when we give an interview for a company, there's a constraint of solving the particular question in 45 minutes. So if one does competitive programming, he or she will have an edge over others. But I believe that first and second year is just for exploring. After that, one decides in which particular field he or she wants to go. Then according to that, he or she should decide whether competitive programming is necessary to become what they want to be.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's a nice question. That's a nice opinion. So I would also like to add to what Smriti said, that it is really good to do competitive programming because it really sharpens your problem solving skills. And many companies like Google, they like for job roles such as associate product manager, even managerial roles, they look for people who have nice problem solving skills. So the only way to increase problem solving skills is by doing solving puzzles, doing maths, or doing competitive programming, because competitive programming really encapsulates all of those mathematics and your puzzle solving skills. So it's not really necessary to be a good software developer, but yeah, you should do this if you want to really sharpen your problem solving skills, because many roles are there which require you to like be very good at analytical thinking, and that really comes from doing this sort of competitive programming. One of the most frequent questions which we keep getting from first year, second years, third years, people from our batch, that when is the right time to do internships? When should one do internships? So let's start with Smriti.
I think that one should try getting an internship in first year according to the skills he or she has, and they should apply for internship throughout the year. It's not necessary that he or she will get, but I think they should try.
Okay, yeah.
I think Abhishek is better. He can answer it better.
Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, there is one age, like year gap, year difference between. So, like, we are getting opinions from everyone. We're in second year, so we're getting opinions from second year. Abhishek is in third, like he's going to fourth year, so we're getting opinions from him too. So let's just get all the opinions and like discuss on one point. So Abhishek, what do you think? When should one do internships?
So this is a controversial question. So I would like to share my opinion here. So I have been interning from my first year. I think it was September or November. I don't remember. So I have started working in the first semester, and there is not any time like I have not been interning at any company. Like when I stopped interning at that company, like my first company, then I started work on another company, and so on. I have been working for the first year, and parallelly I have been working on my DSA and problem solving skills. So it depends on the person who are like who wants to do that. So yeah, that's
okay. So multi-talented Abhishek, he's doing internships from his first year and also brushing up on his DSS skills, which is really good. That's a nice thing to do. Like if you are really skillful, you can start your internships from your first year. But like for me, I didn't start my internship from first year. What I did was I took the first year to do some exploration of the college, and then in the summer vacation of the first year, I learned some skills like ML, and in the second year I brushed up on ML and did a specialization on like deep learning and neural networks. Then after that, in the third year, like in the summer vacations of second year, I started doing internships. So that was the time when I did two internships in the whole summer vacations, and a bit after that when there was the lockdown. So college was off, so I could do it. I could afford to do internships because college was over. Else, college wouldn't give us so much time like to do all that. So I would really say that the best time to do internship is the second year vacations or the third year vacations, because if you go from the first year vacations, there are many companies which won't like take you in because you are short on experience. You might be really skillful, but according to them you are short on experience, so they won't really take you. But second year summer vacations and third year vacations are really good to do internships. Okay, so like talking about internships, many people also feel that like what kind of internship should they do, the research kind of internships or the corporate kind of internships. So in research kind of internships, we have the internships from colleges like IIT, NIT, or some many foreign colleges like MIT. And in corporate internships, we have all the other companies like Google, Microsoft. So what do like Smriti, what do you think one should do? Which one should one choose?
It totally depends upon the particular person in which field he or she wants to go. Like if someone is interested in research, then he or she should definitely go for a research internship. And to be very honest, I don't know much about corporate internships, so it would be better if any two of
Okay, Abhishek. So yeah, just
So
what do you feel about this?
what I think is, if you want to pursue higher education, and if you want to go into research field, like you want to do PhD, and or you want to find something new in computer or your engineering department, then you should go for research internship. And if you want to get better in your job life, and improve your career in a job, or you want to start your own startup, then you should better go for corporate internship, obviously.
Okay, so if you want to find something new in your laptops, like every time I open my laptop, there is one app running in the background, I find something new. So if you want something like that, you should go for research. And if you are looking for like a startup or anything of that kind, you should go for corporate. That is what Abhishek says. Now, what I feel is that like you should try to do both the kinds of internships, because they both help in their own way. If you're pursuing higher education like MTech or anything in the research field, then research internship is going to help you a lot. And in the corporate world, they really don't care about where you have done your internships. It's just that if you are doing research internship, even it gets the same preference as doing in any other corporate. But I think if it's in a like better corporate like Amazon, Google, they might give you a little bit of more preference. So it's better to just go for both research internships in 1 year and corporate internships in another year. So that's 2 internships in a BTech course, and yeah, that's all good for one person in each BTech course. So moving on to the next thing, which most people have a hard time dealing with, that is once they get the internship, it's often unpaid, or they are the ones who are paying for it. So the another thing, which is the unpaid internships, or the ones they're paying for it, those are mostly done in startups. Yeah, those are mostly done in startups. So what does Abhishek have to say on this? Like, should one do the unpaid internships in the startups, or they should not?
What I think, I have read a quote somewhere that if you are getting money, then you should do that job, or if you are getting some skill, then also you can do that job. And if you are getting nothing, then just run away from there.
That's a nice quote.
So,
Okay, so
if you are getting some benefit from if any unpaid internship, then do it, or just leave it. That's it.
yeah, that's very short and crisp. So Smriti, what are your opinions on this? Should one do the unpaid internships, or like should one search for another internship?
I believe that if someone is in first or second year, for the sake of gaining skills, one can do unpaid internship. It's okay to do unpaid internship, but paying for an internship is not good, and that's
Yeah.
not an internship. Also, that's training.
Yeah, that's very weird. When I see people like they ask for money for internships, and what you get in return is just a certificate and a course which is already present in platforms like YouTube or Coursera. So that's one thing that comes with that, when people run after certificates. So it's not the certificates you should run after; it's the skills you should run after. And about this question, the unpaid internships, if you're in desperate need of some internship, you can do the unpaid internships. But in most cases, like if you start early, you will get an internship and you can just do that. And the other thing is that if you are getting skills or something, if you want to do freelance, you can always go for unpaid internships. You can always go for internships at startups if you want to learn skills and stuff. Okay, so with that being said, people also ask that if it is possible to intern and learn a skill simultaneously. So, Abhishek, what do you have to say about this?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure.
I didn't audio like, yeah.
Yeah, the question is, people tend to ask, is it possible to intern and learn a skill simultaneously? Like, learn a skill as in, if you're taking a course online, or if you're taking a course offline. So if you're doing an internship plus you're learning something, is it like possible to do that?
Yeah, it's totally depends upon the internship. If you are doing like if your internship is just like filling some Excel sheets or just it depends upon it. Like I will share my experience. Most of my skills I have learned from interning and like I have like and from YouTube, but I have never paid for any training or any course. So according to me or in my experience, I have learned mostly. That's it. So it's totally depends upon the person and internship.
Okay, cool. So, is it possible to intern and learn skills simultaneously? So, like Smriti, what do you have to say about this?
I agree what Abhishek said, and I believe that it depends upon the nature of internship one is doing and the time management. Time management is also important to simultaneously handle everything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, even I agree with Vishek and Smriti that it's always up to you, your time management skills that you are doing an internship and also learning something. Most of the time that internships are not that rigorous on you because they are not employment stuff that is only internships. So you can really take out time and learn a new skill or something of that kind. So it's really up to you what you want to do and it's possible to do that simultaneously. Okay, so like, is there any like personal experience, Abhishek, you would want to give us regarding your internships and your projects and certificates? Internship projects and certificates. Which one has played a major role in your life? Like, how has anything changed in your life?
Firstly, I will tell about certificates. So there was this Google form, we were told to fill by our like TNP cell, and there was this certifications column, and I have to search my whole email, my whole portfolio website, and I didn't find any. So I had to leave it blank. Or yeah, I had downloaded it from HackerRank. I think they provide free certificates, and
They provide free certificates.
they provide, and there are many other websites like Solo Learn. They also provide free certificates, so you can download it from your there, and you just need to fill some quizzes, I think so, and you will get that certificate. And according and about the project, so I have worked on many projects. One with Soham and that Parky one. It was like good for me, and I got many calls after working on that project to work on any full stack project. So yeah, that was very nice project. We can also share the link if you want. And
Yeah, we'll put the link in the description or something.
yeah, and and about the skills I have mostly gathered by working on internships, and that's it. And yeah, that's my personal experience. I am mostly working on internships, and I have not did anything other than that.
Okay, that's cool. But you should also enjoy your college life. It's not just
Yeah,
internships and stuff.
I have really enjoyed my life, so I know that.
Yeah. Okay. So for another of that for the next time. So next to Smriti, like how has like have you done any internships or how one of those has changed your life, your certificates, your skills?
Talking about the certificate has never been my preference. Again, I never believe in the concept of certificates, but there are some certificates that are important. Like the one we get from HackerRank, the problem solving skill, that particular one is important. I believe that, and I haven't done any internship till now, but currently I'm working. I'm working on my problem solving skills since I will be going in third year, and currently started learning development.
Okay, cool. So that's great. That's like you. Yeah, you should like really not get up with the certificates because the certificate is just a validation for something you've already learned. So focus on the learning part, and people will always recognize your skills. Like Abhishek said that he had never got any certificate for any courses he has learned online. but he is getting calls for internships. So that's really great. You should work on projects and utilize your skills on that instead of just hogging for certificates. So I think that sums up our whole session of utilizing our summer 21 better. So if you're a freshman or sophomore, I guess most of your doubts are cleared. And if you're a junior or senior year, focus more on the competitive coding part because many companies are going to select you from that. So I think that's all for now. Abhishek and Smriti, thank you for joining, and we'll take a leave.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.